Right, let's get the live chat up on my phone. That might be a good start. Right, and any second now, and yay, we got it up and running. Fantastic. Right, so hello everyone. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world. Welcome to today's or tonight's Train Sim World 2 live stream. I just dropped something, that was all. Nothing major. But yeah, for today's stream, I thought I'd check out, I suppose not everyone's number one route, I suppose, in Train Sim World 2, and that is Britain's longest preserved heritage railway, which is also celebrating, I think it's 50th year or something of existence, and that is the West Somerset Railway in the southwest of England. This, of course, was the second ever British route in the Train Sim World franchise, and I haven't done a stream on this route since probably the early days of 2020. But yeah, West Somerset has pretty much been revitalised, as you can tell from its timetable here. It's got the introduction of some new locomotives. So we've got the 08 shunter here, which can replace the 09 shunter, which comes as standard with West Somerset Railway. You get to use the BR Blue variant of the 47, and you can also use, of course, the lovely British Royal Green Class 47, which also, of course, comes as, I suppose, the standout of the West Somerset Railway. You could use the 45, the 40, both of the 37 variants from West Cornwall and Tees Valley. The 101 was added as part of its preservation package update. You can also use the BR Class 31, and rarely you could use the BR Class 20 single locomotive facing forwards, not facing backwards, which is quite cool. And then, of course, you've got the exclusive locomotive DLCs for this route, which is the BR Class 52 in British Rail Maroon livery, and the 33 in British Rail Green livery. I believe also it's going to get some sort of pretty cool PIS system, which is with the use of a blackboard, I think, at most all of the stations, which is pretty cool. Anyway, we're going to take a look at the journey mode, and we are going to be doing the BL7 Bishop's Lygydd to Minehead. So yeah, certainly West Somerset Railway's timetable package has seen a new lease of life for sure, and of course more to come to the route in terms of the PIS system, probably the most unique PIS system in the game, hopefully not too long. But this is it, the 1615 all-stop service, which goes from Bishop's Lygydd to Minehead, a full run of the West Somerset Railway. It's going to take quite a while, because obviously the speed limit is hideously low, unfortunately, but yep, that's the way it is. And of course, very appropriately, we're using the British Royal Green Class 47. And so let me just get the setup procedures here, the lights. I'll take a look at the chat in a minute. I can see it in the corner of my eye lighting up or moving about. DSD is on, and AWS. Right, before I depart, let's take a look at the chat, because there's not a hope of me trying to keep time of this service. So it's pretty much a cruise along the countryside, and also I've changed. It's nice to see the weather's changed up a bit with some moderate cloud cover. But Mr. Quicko Gaming, Polish Kid, Liam, hey, hope you're well. Cytokin, hey Spurs, how you doing today? Hey Cytokin, I'm very well, thank you. Hope you're well too, my friend. Mr. Quicko Gaming, hey Ash, I'm guessing that's your name, as it says in the top right. That is my name, that's correct. Hope you're well, Mr. Quicko Gaming. Talk Gaming, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. All of the trains, hi Spurs, I saw on the post when you announced the stream time that you put the times for Russia. I suggest you do not do this. I does not show support for Ukraine. Well, crikey, that's a very good point there, All the Trains. I've completely forgot about that. So thanks for that, for reminding me that. I'll change it for the next post for the next stream. I forgot to put that in, that's my mistake. So thanks for that, All of the Trains, for reminding me. Mr. Cuckoo Gaming, can we get to 10 likes? Of course we can. Talk Gaming, I was there last week. Oh, of course you were, yeah, in West Somerset in real life. How was it? Hopefully it was good fun. Any idea when the next Train Sim World PlayStation sale is? Ooh, PlayStation sale. That's I'm not the I knew, but it's very difficult for me to predict when. Here we are, leaving Bishop's Lizard. The horn is terrible on this BR Green Class 47. These lovely British Rail coaches. I believe they're called Blood and Custard livery. I'll tell you something, speaking of what came to my mind just now, I think what would be great to use on this route is the steam locomotives. That would be awesome. But yeah, in terms of updates to this route's timetable package, you see we've got the green 33 here. We've got some other coaches knocking around the sidings here. So yeah, it's a bit more additional scenery has been added, let's say. I think that excuse me, I think that additional 33 actually is usable. That 33 there in the siding. The 09 or the BR class, so it actually does passenger services, which is a unique thing as well. Yeah, my thoughts on West Somerset. It's probably a very unique route because, is it challenging? I think so, yes. The undulations is probably some of the steepest undulations you'll get on a preserved railway, for sure. Another reason is also the timings of this route. You really do have to, if you really want to get a gold medal and be as close as you can to the indicated time, I think this is certainly a challenge. Also, it's a very interesting route in terms of the mental side of things, like, because it's a bit frustrating, isn't it? You know, trying to keep near-ish or at 25 miles per hour for pretty much the majority of 27 miles, and that can get a bit frustrating for some people, or they start to lose a bit of patience. But it is a good route. For me, I like it. It's not my favourite, for sure. I think it's the least preferred. It's my least preferred route in terms of the old school British, you know, BR Blue kind of diesels and all that kind of stuff. But since its recent, you know, preservation update, and the fact that it's got, you know, more locomotives involved in the timetable package, so you can kind of mix and match your experience. It's not bad. It's not bad. The scenarios are quite cool as well, and you get to use the Minehead Turntable. And also for people that love the West Somerset Railway, or live near the West Somerset Railway, or have been to, it's always a good. It's for me, it's always pretty cool that, you know, you say if I was living near the West Somerset Railway, you look out the window, you see the actual railway in operation, and then you could just stick on your gaming machine and play it in the virtual world, which I think is pretty cool. Thierry, hi Spurs. Hey Thierry, I hope you're well. Nice to see you. Talk, yeah, it was Talk Gaming. Yeah, it was good. Really nice weather. Oh, good. Always good to have nice weather. As you know, in the UK, usually spring time-ish, or with going doing the transition from winter to spring, it doesn't all brighten up and get warm very quickly, as much as I would like it to be, of course, and probably everyone else in the UK when they hear the word springtime. But there we are. That's how it is. Yeah, steam trains would be very, very cool to have on this route. And I can see my cat emerging from my bed, so I'm just going to have to pause it a minute. There he is. Oh, he's crash landed on the floor. I'll just pause it a minute and just let the cat exit bedroom. Bless him, he's been asleep most of the evening on my bed, but now he will go downstairs and feast on his food and probably find another place to sit or sleep. Yeah, steam would be a very interesting challenge. And really, when you think of steam trains these days, where do you mostly see them? On a preserved railway. So I would be very surprised if Dovetail didn't enable the 2 steam locomotives that are confirmed for Trainsim World to be usable on the West Somerset Railway. Because, I mean, you know, the Class 20, the 31, was usable on the West Somerset Railway's timetable. So why not the steam locomotives? Polish Grid Spurs, when I'm connected to another locomotive in Sandpatch Square, I keep hearing this squealing and my train keeps slowing down for no reason. Could you give me advice? Squealing and the train keeps slowing down for no reason. I imagine it's something to do with the brakes. A squealing sound. It's got to be something to do with the brakes, because that's the only thing I can imagine that's making a squealing sound. So maybe just make sure that the brakes are fully released when connected up to the locomotive. That's the best advice I could give you. I haven't encountered that problem because A, I haven't been on Sandpatch Grade for ages, and B, coupling up to another locomotive on Sandpatch Grade, I have not encountered a service which involves that kind of procedure. Maybe on a scenario, maybe, but or maybe an off the rails kind of thing. Maybe I've encountered that problem in the past, but as far as recently gone Sandpatch Grade, which was a very long time ago, I have no experience. But judging by what you're saying in terms of squealing noises, then it's got to be something to do with the brakes, or maybe they're just not released properly. That's the best advice I could give you. Thierry Nova Heavy Freight Pack adds wagons in the sidings. That is correct. Is it a Minehead? There's quite a lot of stuff that's been added to the scenery aspect in terms of the sidings and other trackage around the town. Yeah, you got some wagons here, and I think a couple of some coaches here have been added. You've got one on the turntable locomotive. You've got probably I thought that was a 101, but a 101's usually on this siding here near the sheds. What's also quite cool is that at the start of the day of the West Somerset Railway's timetable, you got actual, single diesel locomotives just dotted around in some of the sidings around this route. So you wouldn't have any here of it. That's actual wagons from Heavy Freight Pack, but certainly near here, look, you see 1 and 2 locomotives there added for a bit of additional scenery. Just need to increase my speed as I was showing you the map and the rolling stock or additional scenery, as I like to call it, dotted around the map. I lost a bit of speed, so my apologies there. To me, West Somerset Railway is just a nice route for a cruise, isn't it, really? I probably play this once or twice a year. It's not a route to be obsessed about, I don't think. It's a route to sit back and enjoy, almost. I mean, imagine if you play as a passenger on this route, you certainly do get the feeling of, having that relaxing feeling, just being on the train, seeing the scenery roll by at a slowish speed, and seeing other diesels going about their duties with passenger, or moving in and around the sidings, sticking trains together, or breaking them up. So, yes, it's a nice, quaint experience, a nice, calming experience. But here we are, approaching the first stop of the journey, Krokum Heathfield. And look at that, we already have another train in the platform that I was not expecting. That is the BR Class 101. 6 additional services this adds to the West Somerset Railway's timetable. Let's get on the brakes. There we are, let's unlock the doors. Just a 2-car BR Class 101. You also get these lovely West Somerset Railway posters as collectibles. I do like the old school advertisement you get on the West Somerset Railway. This obviously is not the station to showcase that. Oh yes, you do. You get a fizzer, resume fizzy drinks. Is there any more advertisement here? No, there is not. Right, we'll be waiting a while. So that enables me the perfect opportunity to open my box of Quality Street Matchmakers. I haven't had matchmakers since Christmas, so it's quite cool. I've got some matchmakers today. Lovely. Cool mint matchmakers. Perfect. Now, Thierry, you have a cat? I do indeed have a cat. It's called River. He's been featured in streams, not recently, since my streaming comeback, but probably in the days of Train Sim World 2020 he's been featured now and again. Thierry, the American freight route's not really my cup of tea. Fair enough. I mean, they do take quite a long time to complete. That is one, I suppose, complaint that players would have, but or one reason as to not really like American freight routes. But that's a perfectly reasonable explanation. Thierry, I want an old school West Coast Main Line DLC. I know we're getting Spirit of Steam between Liverpool and Crewe, but I want set in 1980/1990 with the BR Class 90, the 47 plus the 87 and the 86 could be cool logo DLCs. Well, I mean, if you feel that route is a worthy contender to be on Train Sim World. And the best thing I could offer you is to if you could go to the Dovetail Live forums and maybe put in a very detailed observation as to why you think the West Coast Main Line and the locomotives you mentioned plus the add-ons are, you know, very good options to have in Train Sim World, then yeah, check out the Train Sim World or the Dovetail Live forums. I'm sure there's a specific section that goes in depth about the things that people want to see in the game. In terms of steam locomotives, one locomotive I'd like to see is a Hunslet tank engine. I think that would be quite a fun tank engine to have on Train Sim World. Which route it would have to be featured on, I honestly haven't got a clue. But the Hunslet tank engine, I watched an old school documentary on it this morning, just after I had my haircut. And yeah, I think just the proportions of it and its iconic nature, I think it was one of the most common type of steam engines to have survived into preservation. So that goes to show how successful and how I wouldn't say how iconic, but how recognizable, I suppose, the Hunslet tank engines were. Not just during back then, when they were around in its heyday, but in today. Just over 2 minutes until we depart. Right, Thierry, all a 1980s to 1990s East Coast Main Line, as that is my local mainline route out of London. Ah, I see, okay. Thierry, I think it would be funny if Dovetail released an Island of Sodor. No. I don't think we should have an Island of Sodor DLC. Straight up wackiness that would be. I don't think most players would be very appreciative of that decision. The reviews would be great. Plus, could you imagine the licensing fee? Good lord. I mean, the brand itself, Thomas the Tank Engine, generates in its lifetime probably millions and millions of pounds and dollars. The brand itself, Thomas the Tank Engine, is probably up there with some of the best well-known and probably most lucrative children's brands you could probably think of, really. Because at first it stemmed from the books, didn't it? And then I remember when I was a kid, I used to have all of the Audrey books of Thomas the Tank Engine. Then it stemmed into the original series, and then it's got bigger and bigger and bigger, and then you think of the merchandising and the films, and then the type of voice actors that have come in to voice in for the locomotives, and the toys and the models and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, let's depart, because the next stop is Stokumba. I'm not sure how you pronounce that one correctly. That's probably the only one I'm not 100% sure with, but Stokumba is the next stop, exactly 2.5 miles away. And now we got a challenge because it's now downhill. Let's take a look at the train rolling down the hill. Speed limit has increased to 25 miles per hour. Let's get on the brakes. Polish code, maybe a military convoy DLC. It's interesting that, I mean, I was debating this roughly around the time when I released a video on the Big Jim locomotive, or the US 160 steam locomotive. I think it'll be interesting-ish as a concept to see what would like a World War kind of like 2 or World War 1 route be like for Train Sim World. You know, the problem with it is of course that particular time period, and of course the respective wars are very, very sensitive to a ton load of people, and I imagine quite a few people would be up in arms against the idea. But I think if you just take away the fact, that this is a game portrays World War 1 and 2, they're not people who play the game are not going to die from it in any way, shape or form, but and it's not glorifying violence or anything like that, but it'll just be, I think it's just interesting to see, what kind of operations would be like, what could we do, what type of trains could we run in that World War kind of environment. Yeah, sure, it's not going to be the nicest looking thing around. It'll probably look a lot very sad, seeing buildings blown up and all this kind of stuff. But you could say that about practically most, if not all, of the Call of Duty games. They express and showcase violence far more than, I suppose, a Train Sim World military or World War kind of route would. I think it's an interesting concept. Would I be happy? I suppose would that even be appropriate to say that? Would I be happy for a Train Sim World War II kind of route? I wouldn't. It's a tough one, isn't it? I personally think it's interesting to explore the history of World War II, like the particular operations of a particular place or a city of a country, just showcase that to a new audience in a different way, via video games. But hey, that's just my view. 1 mile to go until Stokeumber, which you're in at 16:43. Not like we're going to make it. I'll say to YouTube, usual shenanigans. Of course, if you've enjoyed this relaxing stream across the West Somerset countryside, then make sure to give it a like. And if you are new and watching for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel. It is free to subscribe, by the way. And of course, you'll be able to keep up to date with all of the videos I make on my channel, as well as Train Sim World live streams, covering routes and DLCs of the past, as well as the very latest ones. Now, another cool thing that's being added to the West Somerset Railway is the Mastery. The Mastery rewards you could have. I presume one of them will be some sort of livery stickers that, I don't know, showcase wildlife or something like that, considering we're mostly going through the West Country countryside. But the actual Mastery scenery is very interesting, because what they're planning to add is like an old steam locomotive pretending to be put on a lorry and shipped to, I don't know, probably the repair yard or maybe another heritage railway. So I think that's quite interesting. They showcased a couple of screenshots of the so-called steam engine being made for West Somerset. Obviously we can't use it, but as a mastery scenery, I thought it was quite a unique bit of mastery collection there. But here we are approaching Stokumber. Fully on the brakes. Little bit far, but that's not a problem because I think the platform is quite short, so I don't think the entirety of the train wouldn't fit on the platform. So let's unlock the doors and see what damage has been done. Not too bad, most of it fitted. Got some picnic tables here. Imagine that, having your lunch and seeing the lovely steam train or big shouty diesel coming by. Lovely. Yeah, but this is what I was on about earlier in terms of the adverts. You've got motor spirit oil, I presume these are all fictional. Drink fizzy refreshments. And coffee and chikori, whatever that means. What have you got here? Classic table mustard, West Somerset Railway poster. Household luxury curtains from Western-super-Mare. The Stokumber station name. Stick with adhesive products. And then it repeats itself. I must say, in these weather conditions, it looks fantastic. Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous. I believe this has had the recent Sky update, courtesy of a particular member of the Train Simulator, or Train Sim World mod community. I'm not sure if his actual name, I think it was Midland someone, but basically Dovetail acquired his Sky techniques and put it into the game. It's not available across the board. I think some of the preserve routes don't have it, but I must say it looks absolutely wonderful, and the West Somerset Railway today. But yeah, let me lock the doors because it's time to depart. And the next stop is Wilton Down, or Willerton Down, just over 3 away, and we're due in at just past 5 o'clock in the evening. That's full thrash, full power. So yeah, the streams I've done this week, or last weekend, the Diesel Legends of Great Western and West Somerset Railway, it's been quite nice to just do a couple of streams on the old school British diesels of yesteryear. So it's quite fun. I've certainly enjoyed it. Hope you have as well. In terms of the next stream, you probably want to know when that is. The next stream will be on May the 1st, 2022, roughly the same time, 8:30 p.m.-ish UK time. And, well, we're taking a trip quite literally back in time. Not on a route of the past. No, not like the 1970s or anything. But I'm taking a look back at, well, probably a route that should be on Train Sim World 2. And I'm going to be taking a look at the Northeast Corridor, New York, on May the 1st. We're going to be doing some Amtrak services with the ACS 64 and the cab car. I've just got to cherry pick the services. And so yeah, the next couple of streams will be an Amtrak themed or a Northeast Corridor, New York themed couple of streams. So if you like the old Northeast Corridor, New York, then you know where to be. Come along for the next stream on Monday, May the 1st, I should say. And we'll take a look back at a route that I sorely miss. And hopefully one day we'll return to the Train Sim World franchise. These matchmakers are very sticky, I must say. They look It's like they've been in the rain or something. Very odd. Well, my mum gave them to me yesterday, but I thought I'd eat them today for the stream, so I've got a cup of tea there getting cold, but that's fine. Any tea is tea for me, I'll take it. I've got sticky fingers, that's not a good thing. Not when doing a stream. Alfie, Esseri, if that's how you say your name correctly. Aloha, hope you're well. Nice to see you. Thierry, I'm looking forward to the TSG DBBL 420. Yeah, same here, that should be very good. Well, it's going to be good, isn't it? It's TSG. Not much more to say other than that, really. But I actually went in depth today with TSG's what's going on with this 218 and the 232. He is still currently planning to produce the 232, so he's actually now making 3 DLCs on spin at the moment. So he's got the 420 for Hauptstrecke München to Augsburg. He's got the 232, which is a rather unusual one to add to Russ Nord, and the 218 for Hauptstrecke Hamburg to Lübeck, which I wasn't at all surprised when well, I was surprised when I heard that TSG was making a 218, but I wasn't surprised with what the locomotive would be on when it comes to a DLC for Hamburg Lübeck. I think I made a video like a long time ago last year assessing what could the Loco DLCs be for Hamburg Lübeck, and one of them was 218, so I correctly predicted that, which is nice for a change. Ben Davis, hey, how are you? I hope we get the 8F or the London Midland and Scottish Railways Jubilee on this route on the timetable, as it would make it great and much, much better, Spurs Rail. I agree. Any steam locomotives on the Heritage Railway is yeah, it makes sense, doesn't it? You introduce a new challenge, not just to driving the route, but also, you know, getting to grips with the locomotives, you know, its driving characteristics. How will those locomotives cope on a slow and probably steep-ish kind of route? That is, of course, West Somerset. So it'd be interesting. Mr. Quicko Gaming, Chikori goes in. Oh, it goes in the salad. Okay, I see. Alfie, I have this route with the class 33. Excellent. 30. I was strong. I really wasn't sure like which locomotive should I use for tonight's stream. It either had to be the BR class green 47 or the BR class green 33. But I was thinking maybe we should leave off the 33, because maybe when I come to do a second stream on West Somerset Railway, probably in the summertime, it would be with the 33. So I'd thought I'd use the 47 for today. So West Somerset Railway live stream, and the next time I'll do one, I'll use one with the 33. Thierry, I want TSG to make the 294 shunter. So do I. I think if I'm not mistaken, Hamburg Lübeck on Train Simulator comes with the 294 standard, I think. It is a red shunter, I know it is, I'm not sure. It might be the 294. Might be wrong. But it was funny because when Hamburg Lübeck first came out, the tutorial of the MRCE 182 showcased the little red 363 shunter. Then for a later patch, Dovetail took it away, and that made me think, is that like a teaser to say as if in the far future a shunter of some description will be coming to Hamburg-Lübeck. I actually personally think instead of just getting a complete new shunter, which I know is, you'd think, what are you saying, Spurs? You wouldn't want to see a brand new shunter in the game? But I think we, instead of making the 294, why not just utilise the 204 that Main Bahn has? Because that shunter is very, very much not used enough. I mean, 7 services on Main Bahn? Nah, not really enough. It needs to be used more on other German routes. Even as scenery, I'd welcome it. Oh, we're going a bit too fast. We're just about okay. Yeah, but I think to use the 204 on Hamburg-Lübeck, I wouldn't say make much more sense, because I don't think the 204 in real life is used on Hamburg-Lübeck. But just to get some more use out of the shunter itself, I think it would be a good idea. Because it is a good shunter, it's just the gameplay of it is very poorly executed, in my opinion. It was River Games' first ever DLC for Trade Sim World, so I can understand why they took it a little bit on the cautious side of things. Now we have to wait because of another train to pass through. Yeah, here we are. We got a refueling depot here at the station. You got some sheds. You got a couple of locomotives sat here. You got a class 40 and a 37. I think we do have to wait for a train, do we not? Yes, we do. Another one slowly making its way to the station. We're roughly, we're more than halfway across the map, which is, wow. It's quite amazing how far we've come in such a short period of time. We now have to wait until just past 5 o'clock in game time. That gives me a chance to have more match sticks and a cup of tea as well. Christoph, nearly dropped my mic there. Christoph Waklorik, hey, nice to see you. Hope you're well. Welcome to the stream. Just taking a cruise across the West Somerset countryside on Britain's longest heritage railway. I think it is the 294, says Thierry. I think it is as well. It's similar-ish kind of visual appearance to the 204. I think it's just a bit more updated. You know, it has rails on the side, handrails on the sides. Thierry just went back and looked at your video, and you said both the 218 and the 294. Yeah, the 294 then, that is the right shunter that is used on Hamburg-Lübeck. As standard, of course, in Train Simulator. Glad I correctly predicted the 218. That should be another masterpiece from TSG or Train Sim Germany. And yeah, if we have a 294, then yeah, that's all of my shunting dreams come true. Be thinking about it, we have quite a lot of shunters in the game already, don't we? We have the BR Class 08, the BR Class 09, the DBBR 204, hopefully 294, the 363, of course, 2 variants, the BR Blue one and the Deutsche Bahn Red one. What else have we got? The Amtrak SW1000R Shunter, the Caltrain MP15DC. So yeah, that's quite a lot of shunters. In terms of new shunters, like I've said a few times now, 294 be a nice candidate to have. I think the Union Pacific SW10 has, I think, a strong chance of coming to Sherman Hill, because definitely the yard at Cheyenne needs a shunter. It needs some shunting duties and some sort, because it is a huge yard and it's pretty much a wasteland. Almost like I imagine the first lockdown that everyone experienced. It was just a quiet, abandoned wasteland. It's not actually a wasteland, but atmosphere-wise it portrays that. The passenger train is just now coming into the station on, which will be our right-hand side. And I think, if my eyes are not deceiving me, is a BR Class 20. It is, isn't it? It is. See, that's one unique thing about the Class 20 on West Somerset. You can do a service with just one single locomotive facing forwards, not backwards. Nice to see the helicopter, or the chopper, as is also known as. That's its nickname of the Class 20. Lovely. Christoph, yes, this route is very nice. It is a nice route. It's a nice, quaint driving experience. Nice, relaxing route. Probably a very good route to use for therapy. Mentally, I suppose. You know, a nice way to calm yourself down. Right, that's enough of my matchsticks. I've got hundreds left, but I'm not going to eat them all on one go. Plus my right hand is getting very, very sticky. Should have had a tissue. I didn't realise the matchsticks were going to be that sticky. Never mind. Right, time for a sip of tea, I think. Ah, lovely. Polish Kid, lovely train. They are indeed. Well, all of the locomotives on West Somerset Railway are very nice looking diesels, for sure. Apparently, the West Somerset Railway is meant to be portraying a diesel gala, and certainly showing that. A lot of diesel bashing fun. Relaxing fun, that is. Liam, this is probably the only route that I finished, but keep playing. Oh, West Somerset, you mean? Ooh, interesting. You're probably the only person I've ever known that has said that. The only person that continuously plays West Somerset Railway. Unless you mean a different route, of course. I believe it's the 150th anniversary of West Somerset Railway this year. I think Dovetail marked the occasion by, writing up the history of West Somerset Railway or something like that, and portraying pictures how it used to be in the very early days and comparing it to today. So it's quite an interesting read. Lovely. Right, it's time to depart, so let's lock the doors. Doors are closed. Let's release the brakes and get going. Just release the brakes fully. I'll put my cup of tea down a second. Time to get back to driving the train. Full power. I'm trying my best to keep West Somerset Railway entertaining. I know it's not the most exciting route in the game, but I'm trying my best to keep you lot entertained. It's not exactly the easiest thing to do, trying to talk for an hour and a half, 2 hours, whilst trundling through the West Somerset countryside at under 30 miles per hour. The next stop is Donnyford Holt. Not too far at all. Let's increase the power to maximum. Give the virtual passengers and you, of course, a listen of what the 47 sounds like at full chat. Of course, now we're very, very close to the beach. The AI traffic has also been added to the route, so you can see the cars going along the road there. That's also another thing that's been added to West Somerset, so it's pretty much bringing it in line. The preservation update, 2 routes of the past, is bringing it more in line with Train Sim World 2 newish routes, or new routes of Train Sim World. This is a short platform. Oh, we got to get on the brakes. Oh, perfect. Magnificent. And we're doing well time-wise too. So we are Donnyford Holt, that's the beach. Or what looks to be a beach. That's a lot of sand for a beach, I must say. Oh, there's a fire bucket. I never knew about that. I've only just discovered that. So what have we got here advertisement-wise? No idea. Donnyford Holt. Got the little village over there. It's almost like a nice little tour of West Somerset. All stations to Bishop's Lydeard, which is of course near Taunton, and Minehead, which is where we are going. You know what, I'm going to change it up a bit. I'm going to stick on the immersion control for once and just play around with the horn. and you can tell I'm very new to the immersion control scheme, because I've accidentally opened the doors on the left hand side instead of closing the doors on the right hand side, and I've actually got an achievement from West Somerset which is called Tourist Attraction. Full power. And now I'm going to switch back to the old controller scheme. I prefer the old controller scheme because of the camera work, really, you can do with the old controller scheme. It's much easier to operate the camera. Whereas with the immersion control scheme, you can't access the individual cameras, be it in the cab or in the exterior of your train. You get the front camera outside and the back camera outside, and of course the free roam camera, but I believe you can't individually pick those type of cameras, all the individual cameras you have within the interior of whatever locomotive you're driving when it comes to the immersion control scheme. So that's why I always stick to the old classic one. Plus you can get rid of that little cursor dot as well. Why? Because it irritates me. That's just how I am. The next stop is Watch It. I believe next to the station is a boat museum. Liam, no regrets in buying this route. Fair enough. Thierry Jenkins, another route in Somerset could be the North Somerset Railway, which used to connect Bristol to Radstock, if that's how I say it correctly. Could be interesting. I don't know much about the North Somerset Railway, but I think there was one that was made, a version of North Somerset Railway that was made for a train simulator, and I am using the wrong type of brake because I am an idiot and we're going way too fast. Whoopsie daisy. Just bring this train to a halt at the correct point. That's a tight old squeeze, I must say, for a locomotive right next to a museum. There we are. Here we are at Watch It. Right, there's a tight squeeze. What have we got here? Milk churn. Nice station building, I must say. Very nice. There's those retro, presumably fictional advertisements. That's, I believe, the church of Watch It, or chapel. This is the museum, the Watch It Boat Museum. That's the entrance, but today's obviously closed. Yeah, look at that little sign there. And of course you've got the traffic rolling through as well. Quite cool. Quite cool, Misa Figs. Nearly destroyed a £1,300 phone there. Thankfully managed to catch it. Nearly fell off the chair. Polish Kid, for me Somerset is not boring, it's satisfying. I agree with you. It's very relaxing, as I've said before. Foxy, hey Spurs. Hey Foxy, how are you? Hope you're well. Just wanted to stay here for a few minutes and then go sleeping. Ah, right, I see. Foxy, what am I driving? The 31 or the 33? It's the BR Class 47 in British Rail green livery. Thierry, the 47 originally had 2,750 brake horsepower, but was derated to 2,580 and had a maximum fuel capacity of 3,900 litres. That is correct. Top Gaming is back. It just had to relocate somewhere. Foxy, the immersion control is far easier than the classical one. It annoys me that the old scenarios do require the classical one. Well, fair enough, that's your view. Fair enough. For some, it's the immersion control is easier to use, and the classical one, I only prefer the classical one because mainly, like I said, for the camera work, it's much easier to operate. Granted, the classical one does have its downsides, particularly when operating additional safety systems like CIFA or PZB. Not CIFA. What is the other one? PZB. Is it PZB, one of them? No. What's the other one? AFB. That's it. The cruise control. Same goes for the. What's it called? That European, the ECTS control system, signal control system that was in S-Bahn Zentralschweiz. That has a separate lever. I think you can operate with the immersion control scheme, if I'm not mistaken. And the full-time score, if you're fans of Crystal Palace or Leeds United Football Club in England's Premier League or the top soccer league in England, it's finished Crystal Palace 0, Leeds United 0. It's just popped up on my phone, and Leeds United chugging along nicely with their American manager, Jesse Marsch. Foxy, do you think we could use future steam engines on the West Somerset Railway? I think we should. Whether that will happen is a different thing entirely, but if we could use locomotives like, say, the BR Class 20 and the 31 from Tees Valley on West Somerset, then I think it's perfectly reasonable that we should be able to use, hopefully, the two new steam locomotives on West Somerset when they arrive with the Spirit of Steam route. Hopefully that should be released before maybe before August. It's difficult to judge how far Dovetail is with their development of the Spirit of Steam. It's taken many, I imagine, a long time, maybe over a year maybe, of development in terms of getting the technical bits and bobs right, of how to make a steam engine work in the game, let alone make a route that utilizes just steam engines. Trainmaster, hey, how are you? Hope you're well. Top Gaming, the route has a nice ambience, partly due to the birds and the seagulls in the background, and after being there I can confirm that the background noise is actually spot on. Excellent. That means West Somerset Railway, as far as Top Gaming is concerned, for Train Symbol passes with flying colours. Dovetail will be pleased, I'm sure. That is, if any member of Dovetail's development team is watching the stream. Foxy, the route is so satisfying for me, but it is too slow. That is a common, I suppose, not criticism, because it is part of the National Heritage Railway scene, if you like, in England. They're restricted to a maximum limit of 25 miles per hour. Some drivers do tend to go purposely over the speed limit, mainly because it's either too boring for them, or maybe just to wow the crowd on the station platforms, or watching from the fields, or on board the train. You hear the engine roaring, firing up to its maximum power, and going a bit quick, maybe than what's legally permitted. But I can understand why people are not a big fan of West Somerset, simply because it is a bit too slow, and of course that means it gets too boring or a bit dull. But as far as the ambience is concerned, it's lovely. I mean, I think the ambience in Train Sim World, I'm surprised people don't talk about the ambience more. I think the ambience on some routes are fantastic, particularly of the later ones, like the USA ones as well. In particular, are a good one. You know, Sherman Hill, Clinchfield. You know, over here the sound of the wildlife, the nature. You know, the sound of the forest or the desert. You know, it's nice to just get in first person mode and just hear it all. You know. It's lovely. It really gets you immersed into thinking like, yeah, I'm on the Clinchfield. I'm in this dense forest that is in, I don't know, Virginia or wherever the Clinchfield Railroad is. I forgot what the other state was. What is it? Virginia and Kentucky. That's it. Yeah. Particularly with the Appalachian Mountains and Horseshoe Curve as well. The atmosphere is not too bad on that as well. But yeah, just the atmosphere, you know, of the wildlife there, the ambiance is really, really nice. The next stop is Washford, by the way, just over half a mile to go. I think we're encountering our steepest uphill gradient so far on this journey, which is just under 1.5%. So I'm just increasing the speed limit a tad. Leo, hey, how are you? Hope you're well. ETCS says Thierry. I think I said that right. ETCS. I had to think there briefly what the correct pronunciation was for the safety system on the S-Bahn Zentralschweiz. Top Gaming, in terms of scenery, is okay, although empty in some places. I suppose you could say the same with pretty much all of the Train Sim World routes, really, aren't there? There are going to be some places where Telltale have cut corners, I suppose, maybe to try and make the performance stable as much as possible on all of the consoles and the PC, or maybe just because they're just straight up lazy. But here we are approaching Washford. So over on the the right hand side, some of the box fans that's used from the heavy freight pack on TransPennine. Oh, there's a shunter as well. Oh, I didn't see that. Hello, what a surprise. Whoa, we're going a bit too fast. Let's get on the brakes. Oh, I need to check that out. I never knew there was a shunter here. Ooh, there is an 08. And it's all fired up, ready to go. I presume you can get in the shunter and take over it and pretend to do some shunting. Shunt these wagons around. Connect them together and stick them in a siding, or get that set of box vans and stick it next to this set here. It's not part of the timetable package, I know, but just a bit of something different, you know. Why not? I think that's a pretty good idea. Shunt some wagons around a siding on a preserved railway. It's not a bad option. Plus, it's free from the. I think those sidings are free from red signals. Yeah, it is pretty much. So you can get in the shunter and shunt to heart's content with those wagons. Those box vans. It's quite a good option, that is. We have to wait until 1721 and then we will depart. I forgot what the next stop is called, but it's there. Foxy, I love the style of West Somerset Railway, so yeah, you see my dilemma. I do indeed. Anyway, good night. Spurs Politics is awaiting me tomorrow. Oh, lovely. Have fun. But I'll see you next time, Fox Gaming. Cheers for popping in. I will see you next time. Have a good week. Top Gaming, the North York Moors Railway would be good, from the coast of Whitby, rolling hills of the North Yorkshire Moors National Park, and the quaint town of Pickering. Ooh, that sounds like a good one. Quick question, says Leo. What's your favourite steam engine from the United Kingdom, minus the Flying Scotsman? Ooh, favourite one. It's got to be the Black 5 for me. I just love the Black 5. The visual appearance, the sound. It's a mixed traffic locomotive, the Black 5, whereas the Flying Scotsman, be it incredibly iconic, is a passenger locomotive. So I like the Black 5 for its more varied use, and the Black 5 was actually quite used, I think most of all, commonly in Scotland, which is a surprise to me when I first learnt about what the Black 5 was. But yeah, I think the name of it, the Black 5, the look of it, the proportions, yeah, it just really resonates with me very well. It's like one of those things you have, like, you don't know, it's hard to explain like why that locomotive is your favourite. You just know deep down that it's got to be the favourite locomotive. So the Black 5 for me is my favourite, but definitely Flying Scotsman runs it very, very close in terms of its history, its status in the railway world. And if Flying Scotsman, would you believe it, if it was ever to come to Train Sim World, then expectations will be through the roof. Like, Dovetail will have to get, it's difficult to replicate the sound of a steam engine, like a particular steam engine or something. The only thing I think you have to get right is the whistle. But yeah, in terms of the visual proportions, driving characteristics, if Flying Scotsman ever was to come to the game, would have to be correct, 100%. Flying Scotsman is probably up there with Big Boy, Union Pacific Big Boy, in terms of the true kings of steam, in terms of, like I said, history, prestige, how well loved it is in the railway world. And funny enough, those two locomotives, Big Boy and Flying Scotsman, have of course come back from the dead and are both running very, very well as we speak, giving people new memories of their favourite steam locomotives. Jerry, back in the day, drivers could get away with speeding a few miles per hour over the line speed. However, nowadays drivers will get a stern telling off. I imagine they'll get more than a stern telling off. Oh yeah, on the modern network, it's easy to catch drivers that go deliberately over the speed limit, and of course the consequences of it can be, horrendous. But on preserved railways, you can go, I suppose, a titch over the speed limit now and again, as long as you know when it's safe to go a little bit faster, and when not to go a little bit fast. Talk gaming, oh yeah, obviously Gronk vibe in Decident, absolutely. Good rhyming there. Sorry, King Spurs, it's unfortunate that TSW scenery is underrated, actually. Some of its scenery is underrated. I wouldn't say all of it's underrated. Certainly there are. Horseshoe Curve, I must confess, I was closely inspecting the roundhouse at the Juniata Works, and the scenery on there is appalling. They've clearly skipped a few beats there, have Horseshoe Curve, but other areas like the curve itself, or the museum near Johnstown, I think it was, that's done really, really well. It's just such a shame that the majority of scenery on Train Sim World is a bit hit and miss. Some of it's really good, and some of it they've cut corners and it's really, really bad. Either that's due to laziness, or cutting it, or not putting scenery in that, not putting scenery in the game due to maybe trying to keep a consistent performance across all the generations of consoles, because yeah, it's a lot of devices it's got to work on, many different types of PCs, the PlayStation 4, the PlayStation 5, the Xbox One, the Xbox One X, the Xbox Series S and X. So that's a lot of platforms you got to make sure that the game runs smoothly on, really. Okay, we are approaching Blue Anchor Down. Why it's called Down, I don't know, but we'll just call it Blue Anchor. This station was actually built specifically for the opening of a holiday park on the right-hand side. I believe that was its origins, or the reason why this station was built. Actually, at this station there's almost like a little unique hotel where you can stay overnight in some old British Rail coaches, which is quite cool. Right, let's just slowly bring this train to a halt. That should do it. Should be enough. Is the whole train on the platform? Not quite. I'll ink forward. I'll move forward just a bit more. I'll have to wait anyway. There's another train coming through. Oh, it's the 09. That's another unique thing about West Somerset Railway. This is the only route where shunters can do passenger work. It's pretty cool. Look at that. Nice to see that. That British Royal Green shunter looks squeaky clean. Beautiful graphics on it. Reflections are just wonderful. Right, let's get on the brakes. That should do it. There we are. We're way ahead of schedule anyway, so that's cool. Another thing as well, the crossing gates do work. I can confirm. And this is the hotel or kind of overnight options you have here. You have a holiday park over there, and you have the option of staying in some British Rail coaches. That'll be quite cool, actually. This is Blue Anchor. There's the passengers disembarking and getting on the train. Of course, when you do conduct the 09 or 08 passenger services, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 coaches. It's quite cool though. You can do some passenger services with the shunters, which makes a nice change. Just wait outside for a second while the passenger boarding procedures are taking place. Thierry, I wish there was freight services on this route, as freight trains run on this route in real life. Is there really freight service? I know, I thought they were just like demonstration runs of freight services. I know, maybe the odd service now and again, in terms of just checking the line out, making sure that it's safe and ready to operate on. But actual freight services, I didn't realise that, no. That'd be quite a nice thing to see, actually. Earlier, its scenery is very good of the West Somerset. It's so peaceful. Oh, yes. Ben Davis, I'd love to see the Swanage Heritage Line, as they could go to Wareham Want on the main line, and I would love to see the Norfolk Railway as they excuse me, as they could go to Cromer on the main line. Ooh, okay, good options there. Polish cable number 3. I can vaguely remember a Polish steam train ride. I can remember it being black and small sized. Nice. Thierry, in Bosnia Herzegovina, they still have two World War II steam engines working on mine. I've seen that, yeah. I've seen a couple of videos on that. Quite extraordinary how they're still working today. Unbelievable. It goes to show that those steam engines still live on. They're probably more reliable than the modern day counterparts, I imagine. For Talk Gaming, I watched the steam train pass from the Blue Anchor Beach. Oh, lovely. It's very nice. Good photo opportunities there, I can imagine. For Sadikin Spurs, I mean, it's nowhere in the stratosphere of some of the new stars, but at least it isn't. It isn't the dumpster fire that some say it is. That's very, very true. Oh, Thierry's message was there, but it's disappeared. Oh, never mind. Talk Gaming, the beach is very pebbly. Good pebbly, though. Yeah. I like a beach that's mainly full of sand. I mean, yeah, it's nice to have some pebbles and stuff, but I don't want to hurt my feet or lose my balance and fall over, so mainly I'm not a fan of big pebbly rocky beaches now that 08 is leaving, and it's now time for us to leave. So let's lock the doors and depart. The next stop is Dunster. Supply to full power. We'll also see the crossing gates in action. I will prove to you that they do work. Let's get on the brakes. There we are. Cool feature. The next stop is Dunster, just over 1.5 miles away, and we're up against the sun in terms of a race to the finish line. Hopefully it doesn't get too dark as we progress to Minehead. Leo, I wish they bring back British Rail. For newer trains are kind of but they're still nice. The older ones are better in my opinion. It depends. I suppose for passenger comfort, proper travel comfort and all that kind of stuff, I imagine the modern ones are better. But the new ones are better, I should say. But the old ones, I suppose, just for the fun of it, the excitement of driving them, I do prefer the diesels, yeah. But if I was passenger comfort wise, I would prefer the newer ones. But to some degree, actually, if you were to be like a first class in one of the old trains or something, or even in what's a good example, this carriage, for example, have these first class compartments. I do agree. The experience on the old first class compartments of these coaches are makes you feel more. What's the word? Makes you feel more. I don't know. Makes you feel more rich. Makes you feel like you're part of the upper class, so to speak. More luxurious surroundings than the first class compartments of today in modern trains. That's just my view. The leather, the colour, the upholstery, the privacy as well. Right, let's increase the power. Thierry, driving with the 08, at least you can't break the speed limit. That is very, very true. That's very, very true. Thierry, they are Mark 1 or Mark 2s? Are they? Blimey, that's a great question, actually. I imagine, Mark... that's an interesting one, because there's two types of coaches, isn't there, in West Somerset? I presume they're Mark... I'm going to take a punt and say Mark 2s? I have no idea. There isn't like a description, is there, on the side? No. W2169, no. West Somerset Railway? What's under here? We're made in Doncaster, apparently. And we're going way too fast. Whoopsie daisy. I'm sure the passengers won't mind that. I'm not sure what kind of coaches they are, to be fair. But I like the colour of them, the red ones in particular. I think the coaches are just showing you in blood and custard livery. It's quite cool. Thierry, after you arrive at Dunster or Dunter, I'm going to head off. Alright, Thierry, no problem. Thierry, next year we are getting Great British Railways, which means all trains will be run by the government. God help us. I don't know, like, if it's better to have trains ran by, you know, different franchises or operators, or being owned by the government. I don't know. I think both of them are... Well, both options are not the best option, really. It's difficult because, you know, the government, I mean, that speaks for itself, doesn't it? And the operators, some are better than others, but mostly frustration. If you were to collect thoughts of the majority of people that use the railways these days in the UK, mostly due to delays and expensive ticket prices and timetables being changed at the last minute and things being taken away and all this kind of stuff, etc., etc. And can't think the government's going to do much help, is it? It depends what government we have, to be honest with you. I mean, could you imagine Boris Johnson trying to run a steam train service or something, or playing a game or playing this game? I mean, blimey, he wouldn't know what's left and right. Right, here we are, Dunster, and we nearly blocked the road there, but yeah, at least a car or two could maybe squeeze through. Not like that would happen in real life, of course. But actually, yeah, this area is where the steam engine mastery thing will take place. I've seen the pictures of it. This crane lorry will be replaced, I think, by an actual low loader truck facing this direction, and the workmen will then put the locomotive up onto the ramp. I've seen the picture of it, and it is in this exact location, I believe. Unless I'm completely wrong, which I could well be. But judging by the picture of what I've seen of the mastery locomotive of West Somerset Railway, I believe it's in that location at Dunster. And so release the brakes. And now lock for doors, because it's time to depart for the last and final stop, which is Minehead. So let's increase the power to maximum. Way, going a bit too fast. Oh well. Oh, blimey. Talk Gaming, what's your local heritage railway? I have no idea, actually, to be honest with you. I have no idea. Let's put it this way. My local heritage railway isn't exactly round the corner. I imagine it's quite far away. Well, let's get off the brakes. Off the power, I should say. Leah, probably a Mark 1. Okay, fair enough. The Mark 2s have 2 doors on one side, and the Mark 1s have 3 doors on one side. Right. The Class 43s use Mark 2s. Or these must be Mark 1s then. Liam, I may have accidentally went over the speed limit with the 08. I got carried away by the speed. As long as you didn't break the 08, that's fine. Don't break the poor little Gronk. Polish gonna have to go. It was a lovely stream. Thank you. Glad you enjoyed the stream. I will see you next time. Have a good week. Thierry VR Mark 1s in chocolate and cream and crimson and cream liveries. Oh, why did I keep thinking blood and custard livery? I'm not too sure. Must have been another type of coach that looked similar, but obviously is not the correct livery. Thierry, during the privatisation of British industries under Margaret Thatcher, she didn't dare touch the railways. No, I wonder why. She touched the mines instead, and obviously shut them all down, and obviously got a few people in the mining towns and communities very, very angry. But yeah, I'm glad she didn't touch them. I can imagine what damage she could have done to them. Blimey. I don't know, she might have done good, Margaret Thatcher, to the railways, but we'll never know, of course. Banana Craft, hey, how are you? Nice to see you. It's been a while since I've heard from you. But hey, nice to see you. We're just finishing up here on a little cruise along the Britain's longest heritage railway, which is, of course, the Western Somerset Railway. Talk Gaming have played Microsoft. I have never played Microsoft Flight Simulator, no. I'd like to, but it means purchasing nearly a £400 next-gen console, which I don't really need because I've already got a next-gen console that I like having. Or a PC. I could get a PC, but I don't have room for it, really, for a PC at the moment. But Flight Simulator, Microsoft Flight Simulator, I've never played, but I'd like to maybe try it, maybe in the far, far future. But at the moment, I just don't have the space or the money to get Microsoft Flight Simulator, and we've got to get on the brakes. My goodness me. I haven't checked the points, actually. They're in the correct positions. Good, good, good. Excuse me. The brakes take quite a while to release. I find if you hold them down, if you hold the release brake button more, they release a bit quicker. But maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just a habit I do. Always hold down the brake release button until the brakes are fully released. I know some people say, "Oh, just touch it and then the brakes will fully release eventually." But I just find just making sure that they're fully released by holding down the brake release button. Yeah, here's Minehead. Additional scenery has been added since the update, preservation update. You've got coaches here, you've got the box fans here, another a coach there. What else have we got hiding around here? You've got the Western. 2 Westerns, actually. You've got the Western there guarding the turntable, which you can take for a spin if you want. And you've got the 45 sitting there guarding the sheds. What a nice way to end the stream. Look at that. 3 lovely diesels. Whoa, don't go too far. That's far enough. Never mind. Overshot it slightly. Never mind. Let's unlock the doors for the final time. Now we just got to wait nearly 2 minutes until the surface is, well, fully completed. What's over here? This is end of the line. There's the beach. You've got an ice cream rack over here to get your ice creams. It's quite surprising how close this heritage railway is to the seaside. Literally a walk away. This is the Minehead Turntable, installed in 2009, so it's over a decade old now. See the passengers disembarking, lots of them. I mean, this doesn't have the rush hour passenger technology, but it's quite a bit for a heritage railway. Obviously set within a diesel gala environment, of course. Let's return to the cab, shall we? Now I think when this is finished, do we have to... Oh, we have to uncouple the locomotive. No, we're not finished yet. Not finished yet. We have to uncouple the locomotive and presumably run it around the train or put it in a siding somewhere. Thierry, the class 43s use... Oh, Mark 3s. Okay, sorry. Banana Craft, very good, thanks. Been working a lot on the bus. Working a lot. Buses for you don't drive themselves. No, I wish... yeah. Buses. I wish sometimes buses do drive themselves, but at the same time, I kind of wish they don't. Because then it means you won't be in the job. Trams would be quite good. I like to go on the tram. I've never been on a tram, believe it or not. Trams are quite cool. You got some in Manchester. You got practically some everywhere, haven't you? These days, you got some in Manchester. Obviously, loads in London. The green ones in London, where my mum used to live. In Wimbledon, all that area of London. I wouldn't say. Did mum even live in Wimbledon? No, of course she didn't. Don't be so silly. With her friends, I think my mum used to live. There were trams around then, that area. Right, we got to uncouple. Just a bit of shunting or switching exercises here. We've got to stop at the Minehead shunt. It'd be good if I switched the brakes as well. The points are auto set. Oh yeah, coming into Minehead here. I believe when I come to a stop here, you do have to manually change the points. The Banana Craft looks a lot better. Dovetail put a lot of work into this. Yeah, they have visuals and the... Oh no, we don't have to do any switching. But yeah, in terms of the... They've completely reworked the timetable package. They've added some scenery bits and bobs in terms of, you know, additional rolling stock into the sidings and what have you, just to make it, you know, make the route come to life a bit more. 4 lovely diesels indeed, Banana Craft. Can't wait to have steam on here. That would be nice. Hopefully we can. Hopefully we can have the substitution, just the use of the steam locomotives on here through the use of substitution. I imagine they will. I mean, why shouldn't they? If the class 20 and 31 can be used through substitution, as well as the Transpennine locomotives on West Somerset, then why not with the steam engines? The only thing that might hold it back, though, is Dovetail will say, oh, it's only this route was designed with the intended use of being a diesel gala, not a steam gala. That's the only potential reason that Dovetail will not allow steam engines on here. But we'll have to see. It's a long way to go until steam engines come to the game. But yeah, there we are. That concludes this stream. Something different for a change. A nice cruise along the West Somerset countryside on the longest preserved heritage railway in the United Kingdom, and that is, of course, the West Somerset Railway. Nice to have a cruise along the countryside and have a chat with you all. Hope you all enjoyed it. I certainly have. If you'd enjoyed this stream, make sure to smash that like button. Of course, please feel free to subscribe for more Train Sim World content and streams on the channel. The next stream will be on the 1st of May 2022, roughly the same time, 8:30 p.m.-ish UK time, where I will be taking a trip on the Northeast Corridor, New York, on Train Sim World 2020. So I'm very much looking forward to that, exploring a route of the very, very distant past, that's for sure. And I hope you are looking forward to that as well. If you could come along for the Northeast Corridor, New York, take a look of a route that was been effectively abandoned by Dovetail Games, then I'd really appreciate that. So I'd just like to say, once again, thank you very much for watching. Take care, have a good week, and I'll see you next time. Thank you very much. Take care, everyone. Take care.